Hello everyone, welcome to the Resilience Element Show. I am so happy to introduce someone that inspired me so much last year. Her name is Capri Everitt. And Capri did so many things that inspired a lot of people. First off, she sang in 80 countries around the world, 80 national anthems to raise money for the children, SOS Children Village, the children that are abandoned and that are also orphaned. And for the full year, or almost a year and a half, right?
9 months.
9 months. So it's a long journey. And the reason why I wanted to interview Capri today is because I think it's an example, a great example of the resilience element. As you know, for the viewers, there's 5 components of the resilience. One is clarity. The second one is conviction, which we can also say it's purpose. Third one is certainty. Fourth, commitment, and then you have courage. So today I thought that you, Capri, are an example of conviction. Conviction because I think it takes a lot to do the whole 9 months, and you have to have a big purpose. So my first question is, and I'm very curious, why did you do that? What inspired you to sing in 80 countries, 80 anthems to raise money for the children?
Well, I think what we really wanted to do as a family, my little brother came along too, who is a blogger. We just wanted to do something that would help other kids instead of going to auditions to get into local plays. I wanted to do something to help other kids, especially. My brother and I were especially interested in that because we thought one of the worst things to us is not having a family or parents to guide you and to help you, and kids end up not thinking about the things that they love doing. They just are trying to do things to survive, and we just really wanted to help them.
And your parents came with you, so obviously you had great support. Can you tell us a little bit about how everything started? Was that an easy journey all the way?
Well, I think in the beginning, it was just kind of hard to learn all the anthems. It was a little bit overwhelming at times to think that, oh, I have 68 anthems to go. I've learned 22, I've still got 68. And that was sometimes just a little bit tiring, especially some anthems like the Chinese anthem were especially difficult. And when it took me 2 weeks to learn the first 10 seconds of that one, it was definitely very tiring, practicing every day because it's just so hard to pronounce Mandarin. It's so different from English, but yeah, it was definitely hard at times.
How much time did you say? 10 seconds, and it took you 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
And by the way, Capri has been named also one of the smartest kids in Canada, and we can understand why. Speaking or singing in 80 different languages, that's kind of not the easiest thing to do, right?
Yeah, well, actually it's 41 because...
41, yeah.
Well, there were 2 in Chinese, 16 in Spanish, so still not... I think there were 3 in English, but not enough.
Not enough. Yeah, and how about French?
There was part of the Belgium, which was in France, and then, of course, France. And sometimes I sing the bilingual version of the Canadian national anthem. So.
Yeah. And you understand the difference between French Canadian and France, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Well, we're not going to talk about this today, but you know, and I know that it was not always like we said. Like the journey took 9 months, and I know that you also went to TEDx in India,
yes,
which is the biggest TEDx
in Asia. TEDx Gateway. It's the biggest TEDx in Asia, and it was just a really overall amazing experience to meet all these people who have done really amazing things and get to speak alongside them.
And I know, because I followed you the whole 9 months, and I know you met people and children that, like you said, they were abandoned. How was it to find people that don't necessarily have everything that you have in your own family? Did you realize things in life that you can share to the people?
Well, I really found that living here in Canada or in North America, you really find yourself taking a lot of things for granted. And when you see how these people live around the world and how these kids live around the world, it really makes you appreciate having just regular things that you would normally just take for granted. When we came back, because you can't drink the tap water in a lot of places, so you find yourself buying bottles of water. But when you came here, it was like you could turn on the tap and the water comes out, and you could actually drink it. Whereas in most of the countries we went, you just couldn't do that.
And we're talking about water, which is so normal
Yeah.
for us. So just that alone is a lot to appreciate.
Yeah.
Is there a moment that really touched your heart that you still remember in one of the countries you visited?
Well, I interviewed a girl in South Africa, and for part of my schooling, I interviewed girls around the world for schoolwork. And this girl who I interviewed in South Africa, I asked her if she had one wish, what would it be? And she said it would be to know her family. And it just made me realize if this girl wasn't at the SOS Children's Village, she would have no one to take care of her. And that was just really a moment where I realized that I have so much that I take for granted that a lot of people don't have. And that was just really something I realized. Well, I think especially around Anthem 55 when we were taking trains every 1 to 2 days to get to the next place, like long train rides, 5-6 hours. And I think I just really thought of the kids in each country that we were visiting, and it just made us go through it without feeling tired or without anything.
And the whole idea came, do you remember how it came out, that idea to sing for SOS Children?
Well, I think what I explained at the beginning, the idea kind of came gradually. It wasn't just one moment. We're like, we should go around the world and 80 anthems.
Yeah.
It kind of came gradually. We started out, I think it was 10 anthems in the different countries. And then, we kind of thought, well, 10 anthems, anyone can do that. Because nowadays, to get people's attention so that they really listen and pay attention to your story, you have to do something completely insane that no one else would ever do. So that's how we decided on Around the World in 80 Anthems.
And you followed your heart and you did that insane thing that had such a big impact. Because how would you describe the difference from the beginning when you sang to the end? Like, did you see a growth in the whole?
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm really not scared of anything. I can go up in front of a lot of people and just sing. Whereas at the beginning, maybe I was more shy. I didn't really. It was just harder to get up in front of people to sing, but now it's like, no big deal, right?
So it comes with practice. So
Yeah.
just by doing it every day on a consistent basis, eventually you just
sure.
become better. And now, would you say it's easy?
Yeah, for sure.
And to end up the whole, and thank you so much, Capri, for your time, because I know
thank you.
she's got school to do. What would be the message you'd like to tell everyone in terms of how to overcome challenges when that happens? And if there's another message you tell to the world, that's your venue now.
Yeah, well, I think I've said it before, but if you have something that you love doing, that just you want to do for your entire life, use it to help these other kids that maybe they have an amazing singing voice or artistic abilities, but they never have a chance to use it because they're so worried about where their next meal is going to come from. So if you just have that thing that you love to do, just use it to help other people.
Well, you did very well, Capri, and thanks for helping all those children. I think that we're going to hear more about you this year, right? A documentary is coming. That's what I heard. But we'll hear more about that, and thank you so much for joining the Resilience Element Show, Capri. We're honored to have you in Vancouver representing all the kids in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the Resilience Element Show, guys. We had the chance to meet Capri just before, and now how about we meet Daddy Capri? Tom Everitt is with us because we wanted to really have a perspective on resilience from the parents' perspective, because this is not a small project.
We needed resilience
to
do this.
You got it. That's it. We need resilience. Cut.
Over. Yeah, we sold our cars. We rented out our house. We quit our jobs as realtors for a year. We took our kids out of school. My wife did the homeschooling through the school program. No funds that we used in the traveling expenses, like none of the money we raised was used in our own expenses, and that was extremely important, obviously. So we had to grind it out, getting sponsors like Flight Center and Eurail, You know, we got some big, heavy-hitting sponsors and stuff, and it was extremely difficult.
So, and I asked the question to Capri, but from your perspective, why doing all this, like making all those big changes? Like people just selling a car for some people might be difficult, and even like decide to have no salary for 3 months, but now like the whole year.
You know how you read those really cool stories? You know how you read uplifting, motivational stories? Like in a nutshell, I just wanted to be one of those stories. We wanted our family to be one of those stories. You know, my dad died at 64. My wife's dad died at 62. We lost George Michael at 53 years old, Prince at 57. I'm 49, and who knows what's going to happen, right? So we were healthy. We really wanted to do something positive for orphan, abandoned, and abused children in this case. My daughter loves to sing, and we love the arts. My son wanted to be the blogger, and you know, we all had a job to do, and we wanted to be a part of a nice story. And in order to do it, we had to be committed 100%. We had to have the resilience to, because every time there was a roadblock, and there were 10,000 of them, not to mention 80 countries worth. You know, we are the first family to ever attempt it and succeed in doing it.
And yeah, let's show everybody a world record.
Official Guinness World Record certificate because of it. And even getting that was crazy. We were in London for one day. We harassed Guinness. We said, we've got a story for you. We went down to their offices. We talked our way in. They, you know, they don't like people just showing up at their office, right?
And I know that sometimes I find that about the success stories, like we really talk about the success and the whole thing, the world record, but like you said, there's tons and tons of obstacles on the way. So for you, what would you say brings resilience in people? How do we... Sometimes people want to quit. Did you want to quit at one point? Like,
oh, a million times, you know, so especially the amount of money we had to put up front in order to do it. And but the idea was always, it's not actually about us, and it's not about Capri the singer, and it's about raising money for orphaned, abandoned, and abused children. And we all read a book called The World Needs Your Kid by the Gilbert brothers, we.org, really popular, famous sort of charity. And we just thought, we want to do something for these kids. And the first country that we went to was Dominican Republic, and SOS Children's Villages. We visited that place, and right off the bat, we knew that was why we were doing what we were doing. And I still have, and I've got to take these off one day, but I still have my bracelets from different orphanages around the world, and I could tell you the kids that put these on my wrist, you know, and that we just had that in mind, that we wanted to raise $1 million, and we ended up raising far more than that when it came to the amount of publicity that we brought. Even just in Toronto, and at the end, the PR company told us we brought $350,000 worth of SOS Children's Villages PR just out of visiting Toronto, because Capri was on the front page of the paper. She sang at the Jays game, 53,000 people. So, you know, our goal was far and away surpassed, but it was like, you know, you just meet these kids who, and we saw some really tough stuff. Really tough stuff. And that kept us going.
Is there for you a story that, you know, basically when you saw that, you thought, okay, no matter what happened now, I keep on going?
Well, I think it was every time I saw the kids looking at Bowen and Capri and us, and I know that a lot of those children don't know their families, they don't have any parents. Some of the SOS villages you can adopt, and a lot of them you can't. And a lot of them, the kids have been taken from their parents because their parents were abusive. So yeah, you would see these children and just know, first of all, how lucky they are that there's an SOS village for them to go to. India, like, my God, children are lucky to be involved. There's 31 SOS villages just in India, and children are very lucky to be there because the poverty is so bad. In South Africa, you know, we had a child whose face was completely burned by his parents and dropped off at the hospital, and that was it. So we got to interact with these kids, and it just always reinforced the fact that we were going to complete the mission. We were going to do what we're going to do, and now with the documentary, it's always about, we got to keep going, keep raising more money for them, and keep that the idea alive, because it really works. And when you're poor in these countries, it's survival of the fittest, and there is no social net, and there's no, in India, the only reason the kids are drinking water is somebody donated a filtering system that only gave 200 liters of drinking water to 180 orphans in this village, right? And they could only turn on the water for 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, and other than that, no go. You know, and so we came. In fact, the most difficult thing about coming back is hearing people complain, because we have really not a whole heck of a lot to complain about. When you want to complain, you go to Estonia, you go to Poland, you go to some of these places and see what's going on with these kids, and you're going to come back and you're going to have a whole new appreciation for life. I'm not kidding. I brush my teeth now, and I appreciate the fact that I can drink the water, you know, when I'm brushing my teeth. Like, really.
Day one, like if you look at the number of people that watched you from first day
Right.
till the end,
Right.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in a matter of second, you had
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views.
I have a friend named Michael McClure, who's top 50 most influential people in real estate, and he said it's the greatest story in the history of Facebook, and he said that because towards the end it just grew and grew, and we got so much popularity and more donations and more people believing in it, and that was something that we knew when we first came up with this idea. It got to the point where we had to do it. There was no backing out. There was no way, because we knew it was meant to be. Even the documentary filmmaker, we had a contest to find the documentary filmmaker. She lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and she's working on the film. She lives in Roswell, Georgia. My wife has one aunt in the entire country of the United States, one aunt in the U.S. She lives in Roswell, and 15 minutes from where the studio was. We just got back. Like, meant to be from start to finish. But yes, the amount of resilience it took for us not to just pack up and go home. When my wife blew her knee out in Romania, that was 22 countries left of going around on crutches. And I'm talking crutches that grip onto your arm because her knee was shot. 22 countries of hobbling up and down the stairs to get to the trains to get onto the next country. I don't know anybody who wouldn't have flown home after one, right? So the last month, it was hell. It was terrible. It was grueling, but we just thought, there's no way we're not going to finish it. There's no way we're not.
Valentine's Day is going to be good.
Yeah. Don't have a lot of money for it, but, you know.
Well, Tom, before we depart, is there anything, a message that you'd like to share to the world about your project, the resilience, something a lesson you had that you feel must be heard?
I would just say that hopefully when the documentary comes out and people can sort of see the journey, they can understand that honestly, we are only here for a certain amount of time, and we have terrible political leaders and we have terrible news all around the world, and yet because of social media, because of our connections now, we can all be part of a great story. We can all play a part in making the world a better place. Our children can do it, and God knows if we're not doing it, they need to do it, but everybody can do something like this. Everybody can get involved in making the world a better place. They just need to stop being as self-absorbed as a lot of us are, and to put ourselves out there, because we only have one life to live, and the planet has some issues, and we need leaders, and we really need them more than ever.
And you did it so well with a great purpose, a great conviction. So thank you so much for bringing your perspective.
Thank you.
And I look forward to hear about the documentary. We'll post everything about that. Guys, thank you so much from the Resilience Element Show. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you. Peace.